Eliana Marcus, and you will be presenting your presentation very shortly. You can, if you would, you can introduce yourself, and then you can start your presentation whenever you have everything all set up. Thank you.
Great, thanks a lot. So, hello everyone. My name's Arushi Nath, and I'm a grade 8 student located in Toronto in Canada. So I'm just going to share my slides, but today I'll be talking about basically the DART mission and seeing if NASA did in fact deflect the asteroid Dimorphos. So just some background information. On 26 September 2022, NASA impacted the asteroid Dimorphos to try to change its orbital period. And the interesting thing is that Dimorphos is actually part of a binary system. So it's the moonlet of the asteroid Didymos. So I wanted to be able to measure the impact of this mission on the binary asteroid system. So to do so, my project followed two goals. First, I created an algorithm in Python to find the physical properties of asteroids. So this can include like how fast does it rotate, how fast does it orbit, what is it made of, and so on. And then the second step was to apply my algorithm to this Didymos asteroid system and try to measure the changes before, during, and after the impact. So how did I go about this? I took robotic telescopes that were located all around the world and took over 55 hours of observations before, during, and after the impact. This allowed me to get a solid baseline and also see how it changed after the impact. I'm just going to go over the methodology my algorithm used very quickly. So first, I found all known stars in my image and known asteroids. And then what I did is to find the magnitude of the asteroid Didymos, I created a circle around it and measured the brightness of all the pixels inside the circle to find the asteroid's brightness. I also subtracted the background noise. The next important thing to do was to find comparison stars. Because across my observation, it was quite long, like 3 or 4 hours, and observing conditions might change, maybe clouds came in the field of view, the air mass was changing, and all of that stuff. So to account for these changes, I took stars with known brightnesses in my image and compared them over time, and that way I was able to measure changes in observing conditions. These stars also allowed me to find the magnitude of the asteroid. The next step, after I had the magnitude of the asteroid, is to account for the changes in positions, because asteroids are moving objects, and we do not want to account for the changes in brightness caused by this movement. So what I did is I assumed that the asteroid was 1 astronomical unit away from the Earth, 1 astronomical unit away from the Sun, and at a 0 phase angle, which meant the angle between the Sun, the asteroid, and the Earth was equal to 0. That way, I was able to align all my observations to the same parameters, as you can see in the top right figure. The next step was to find the rotational period of the asteroid. So how long does it take to complete 1 rotation? To do so, I measured the light coming from the asteroid over time, and then fitted it to different periods. So the period, what I did is, for example, for the rotation, I estimated it would be between 2 and 5 hours, and I created 5,000 intervals between those timelines. And for each interval, I saw and combined all my observations. And the interval which performed the best, or which had the closest fit in all of the observations, was in fact the rotational period. And since this asteroid system had a moonlet revolving around it, I wanted to calculate the orbital period of that moonlet, Dimorphos. So to do so, I simply subtracted the rotation period from the orbital dataset, and then repeated the process of finding composite curves so that I would be able to find the orbital period of the asteroid. So I found some very interesting results. First, I measured the absolute magnitude and the size of Didymos. I found it to have a magnitude of 18.03 and a size, which means diameter, of 820 meters. Second, I found the rotational period of Didymos before and after the impact not to have changed, It stayed 2.26 hours. Neither was a change expected. Third, this becomes more interesting. I looked at the orbital period of Dimorphos, so the moonlet, before and after the impact, and noticed a decrease of 35 minutes in the orbital period. Fourth, I measured the magnitude before, during, and after the impact of the Dimorphos system. Right after the impact, I saw an increase in the magnitude of 1.3. This is caused by all the ejecta coming out of the asteroid after the impact. And finally, I measured the maximum ejecta tail of Dimorphos to be 20,000 kilometers, so it was quite big. Using the rotational period and the diameter of the Dimorphos, I was able to conclude that it had to be rubble-based, which meant it was basically many rocks combined together because of their gravitational pull. Second result, I noticed a change in the orbital period of 35 minutes. Using the change in the orbital period and the time it took before and after the impact, as well as the orbital distance before the impact, I was able to find that the asteroid Dimorphos moved by 40 meters after the impact. This meant that the DART mission was in fact successful. This shows that hypothetically, if an asteroid was on collision course with the Earth, we would be able to deflect it. And we have seen the success of the mission here. And all of my results were validated with external sources, such as NASA, and Atlas. So in conclusion, my algorithm provides an effective way to find the physical properties of asteroids, as we have seen, because my results were correct. It can be used by citizen scientists all around the world, and they in turn can become planetary defenders. I presented several training modules in my GitHub account so that other people can replicate my algorithm on their own images. I've also given workshops at iTelescope and the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. In the future, my goal would be, one of my biggest goals would be to apply a similar type of algorithm to exoplanets, because measuring exoplanets is also about measuring the dips in the light. So I would like to apply my algorithm to do something similar to that. Thank you.
Impressive. You said you used the telescopes from around the world. How did you get access to them, or were you using data that are already been collected and posted?
For sure. So I wrote for telescope proposals to different robotic telescopes months before the impact, and lots of my proposals were accepted. So most of the telescopes I ended up using had a diameter of about 0.5 meters. So these were relatively small telescopes, but since the asteroid was very bright, I was able to still observe it. So in whole, I got about 55 hours of observations spread before, during, and after the impact.
When you got those observations, was there any requirement that you had to share them with other people, or are they yours solely for your purposes?
No, since I had created the observing plans to observe the asteroid, they were all my images.
Great, wow.
What made you want to start studying this? And like start observing about this? And like what age did you start this at?
Sure, great question. So I've been really interested in astronomy for about the last 5-6 years. But I think what really motivated me to start this project is last year I did a project about, well, finding unknown asteroids in sky images. So this was more about astrometry, finding the positions of asteroids, and this seemed like the next logical step to do. After you find the positions of asteroids, you want to know their physical properties, you want to know what they're made of, how big they are, and so on. And the DART mission actually came at the perfect time, so I was able to apply my algorithm to the DART mission, which was amazing.
Thank you.
Well, if no one jumps in, I'm going to jump in because I have a lot of questions. Arushi, I had read that there's another asteroid coming somewhat closer. It's coming a small fraction of the distance to the moon, and it's coming in about 10 years. Is this something we should be worrying about?
Oh, not at all. I believe the asteroid you're talking about is Apophis. And yeah, we have actually been able to determine that the asteroid will come very close to the Earth. But there's no need to worry because it's actually a perfect opportunity to conduct scientific experiments. Like I know many missions are now planning to redesign their spacecrafts and then apply it to go to this asteroid Apophis before the close approach. Because people have actually been thinking that since the asteroid is coming so close to the Earth, some of its own properties could be changed, like orbital period and so on. So it's great to get like a good baseline of the asteroid and then see if anything happens after.
I have a quick question. Congratulations for our great job, great research, apply the research. I think it's very important to have a mean to put in practice some theoretical knowledge. I'd like to ask you, what do you say to children and teenagers to stimulate them to study astronomy as you did so well? What's the benefits for the society that can be derived from astronomy studies?
Well, of course, one of the benefits of studying astronomy is that, well, asteroids can always be colliding with the Earth. Like we've seen that in Chelyabinsk that in 2013, an asteroid impacted Russia and caused huge damages. And that's not the only occurrences. Asteroids, but that's why it's important to have all the asteroids, their orbit, and everything mapped, so we know when the asteroid is going to hit the Earth. Because it's only if we know the asteroid is going to hit the Earth, then we can actually plan how to deflect it and make sure it does not hit the Earth. And that's where I think astronomy becomes very important. Well, I guess so that we don't face the same fate as dinosaurs.
Thank you. Great answer.
Arushi, I know you wrote to Dr. Soto, Amara Soto. Did she ever write back to you?
I believe she has, yeah. We exchanged a few emails, and I was able to talk to her a bit on email, yeah.
She's got a lot of contacts and resources that you may not have, and you really need to keep pushing her and get her to tell you all the people she knows.
Yeah, for sure.
It's okay to be rude. It's okay. Well, I have one last question. What's your next project, Arushi? What are you doing next?
Well, I haven't fully decided yet. If I'm sticking to astronomy or going to some other subject. If I stick to astronomy, it's probably going to be going towards exoplanets and trying to find new exoplanets by creating some similar sort of algorithm, but I still haven't fully decided anything yet.
Great, great. You know, the mission to Jupiter has been launched just a few days ago. Most of the people who are running that mission will be retired in 10 years. Okay, so they're going to need a new crew of people to staff that mission. You might want to apply now.
Who knows? Yeah.
We'll send some reference letters in for you. I'm sure they'd care if what we had to say.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself later, Arushi? I mean, that's where I see you doing something like that for sure.
Well, I definitely want to pursue something in astronomy, astrophysics, something like that. Still haven't exactly decided what path to go to, and I'm in 8th grade, so I guess I still have a lot of time.
I have a feeling that you'll do whatever it is you want to do. I think that you'll be fantastic. Another wonderful presentation. Thank you so much, Arushi, and hope to see you in July. July 22nd, 23rd.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.